Okay, para mas maunawaan pa natin, pati kami rito, yung mangyayaring confirmation of charges hearing mamaya pong hapon sa International Criminal Court ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Makakasama po natin sa ating linya Attorney Rodel Taton, International Law Professor and Dean, Graduate School of Law, San Sebastian College, Recoletos, Manila. Yan. Attorney Taton, magandang umaga po, Igan at Connie.
Good morning.
Good morning, Igan. Good morning, Connie. Good morning
Salamat
sa inyong
po.
taga-subaybay.
Good morning po. Eto, paliwanag po at para mas maintindihan nga ho natin itong proseso ng confirmation of charges ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa International Criminal Court. Ano ho ba ang aasahan natin sa pagdinig na ito?
Ang aasahan natin dito ay there will be confirmation of charges, meaning to say that the prosecution will show substantiality ng evidence, no, kung magpo-proceed tayo sa trial, no. So this time the sufficiency and admissibility of certain evidence will be presented by the prosecution, and the defense also will have that opportunity, no, and it can the judges in the pretrial chamber can determine whether there is substantial evidence para mag-proceed sa trial.
Okay. So parang kumbaga
Ilalatag yung mga ebidensya.
Oo.
Pero ngayon,
Ilalatag
titignan kung
Kung
meron...
matibay.
Oo.
kung matibay, no? Para at least hindi na magpo-proceed kasi ang consequence for the confirmation of trial is of hearing is that kung walang ebidensya na mas matibay para mag-proceed sa trial, di wala na. Kasi sasayang lang tayo ng oras. But
Okay.
if there is a substantial evidence to be presented during trial,
Oo.
then magpo-proceed. Pwede din may partial, no? Pwede din i-dismiss yung iba magpo-proceed sa trial.
O talagang bubusisiin pala. Ihaharap na rin ho ba dito yung mga tetestigo o tumetestigo?
500 yata yung pinayagan.
That is where the inaabangan ng ating mga Pilipinong kaibigan, no. And there is also the problem na kung titignan natin kasi takot ang mga witnesses dito, no. So but they will be presenting evidence including testimony ng mga witnesses, so this will be revealed sa trial court,
Oho.
sa pretrial chamber.
Halos mag-iisang taon na ho si dating Pangulong Duterte sa ICC. So, ganun no talaga yung proseso kabagal, attorney?
During the pretrial stage, no, medyo mabagal siya. In fact, there was a look for evidence pa na kinakailangan kasi medyo mahirap din ang maghanap ng mga ebidensya, especially that some of the witnesses are afraid also to come out, no. Kung mabagal yung pretrial, we will be expecting na medyo mabagal din ang usad if ever mag-proceed siya sa trial because it may take 2 to 3 years or even more years, no, plus may appeal pa just in case, no, because mabusisi po ang International Criminal Court sa pagtingin sa mga ebidensya, and you know how fairness should be done and justice should be done. We have to be meticulous about the evidence presented.
Opo. Yung pong edad ba ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, is it a factor para ho sabihin natin na mas maging mabilis in a way yung kanila pong saliksik dun sa mga ebidensya? Kasi sabi nga, yung iba daw mas matagal pa kesa sa 2 to 3 years.
Yes, ang kagandahan dito sa ICC, and we have seen that, no, while there is an allegation, and of course obvious naman na matanda na si former President Duterte and may sakit, pero they are looking not only on the status of former President Duterte, kundi how to go about with this hearing and how to go about giving justice also to the victims, no. Kaya sinasabi natin na in fact the age and the medical condition of former President Duterte can even be a real ground dapat sa pag-release niya, no, sa interim release. Kaso lang there are factors that were considered also by the International Criminal Court kung bakit hindi natin mabibigyan ang gusto ng kampo ng former President Duterte, kasi nga may mga bagay na that could impact on the trial and the hearing of these cases, especially on the witnesses evidence and even as to the general course of the trial itself.
May mga impormasyon, no? Just to delay yung confirmation of charges. Baka bumitaw si Attorney Kaufman, so maghahanap na naman sila ng abogado, madi-delay na naman ito. Bakit ito ganun na ayaw talagang matapos ito at madiretso sa trial? May ganun ho bang legal strategy po?
Nakita natin na mga every galaw, no, may appeal process.
Oh.
In fact, nabasa ko nga sa social media that they are saying na bakit every galaw merong appeals process dito. Ang tinitingnan dito is due process, and justice cannot be achieved without due process also. Kasi ang akusado, whether he is akusado, there is still a presumption that he is not guilty of all this, no? And kaya kailangan magpresenta ng mga ebidensya. Pero kung pagbibitiw ni Kaufman halimbawa today, I would think that they should have filed that before the confirmation hearing, no? And kung meron man na obvious naman na delay na lang, kung ngayon lang siya withdraw from the case.
Kung ngayon po sa confirmation after mga ilang araw na to na hearing, mapatunayang matibay ang ebidensya at kailangan magpatuloy sa trial, ano po yung tsansa na maparusahan si Pangulong Duterte o kaya maabsuelto kung matibay na po yung ebidensya?
Kasi titingnan natin dito, this is just at the pre-trial stage. No?
Opo.
In fact, si Duterte ay hindi pa kinukonsider na akusado.
Tama po.
Oo. During the trial, pag naipadala na sa trial chamber, doon na siya magiging considered na akusado. And this is a formal case na. So after ng pre-trial, mga 2 months, 3 months, depende sa pre-trial chamber, no? Kung ilang months, pero mostly nag-reach siya, so 5 to 6 months. And from there, siguro aasahan natin at the end of this quarter of the year, magsa-start ang hearing. So 2 years, 3 years. Doon yung medyo period na aabot pa yata ng eleksyon, no? Sa Pilipinas.
So ito
kasi tuloy ko lang, teka
sige
lang. Naobserbahan ko lang kahit sa mga kaso dito sa Pilipinas po, Atty. Taton, lahat di ba, may mga motion to quash, motion to dismiss. Talagang parang ayaw na ma-proceed sa trial parang may kahirapan ba pag nagtuloy-tuloy na sa trial?
Kasi ang pagkaroon na ng trial, medyo mas mabusisi as compared sa confirmation of charges, no?
Okay.
Kasi dito may mga opportunity to cross-examine, and at the same time, lahat ng ebidensya, lahat ng mga biktima, lahat ng mga witnesses ipipresenta na. So medyo mas mahirap and mas tedious also, especially kung malakas ang ebidensya ng prosecution, no? Medyo mahirap ding banggain. That's why all the opportunities and all the possible moves na pwede siguro mapabagal or baka mamaya naghahanap din ng additional evidence to counter this other evidence na ipipresenta. Yan din ang ibang mga dahilan. But this is also to afford parties the opportunity to lay down all their cases.
Okay.
Pero ang trial, hindi na siya makakatangging hindi dumalo. Kailangan po present po siya.
Kailangang present siya. Kasi ang ngayon, no, the presence of Duterte is not also required, no? Pwede namang wala siya dito. And sa hearing, so i-require siyang mag-present doon sa International Criminal Court.
Ito po, hypothetical lang to. Hindi naman to patungkol lang kay dating Pangulong Duterte. But in general, halimbawa sa isang ganitong international court hearing, kapag halimbawa nagkaroon ho ng talagang incapacitated na yung sinasakdal o kaya namatay, matutuloy pa rin ba yung hearing or hindi na magiging null and void ba yan?
It is subject to the discretion of the judges, especially on the health condition, which is of course always and have been the plea of the defense, no? The International Criminal Court has certain stipulations and provisions regarding the pag-proceed sa trial, no? And alalahanin natin na hindi lang dito si Duterte ang lumabas, actually yung mga co-perpetrators, no? So halimbawa, there will be a sickness ng former president, and the co-perpetrators are also brought to the discretion and jurisdiction of the court. So pagtutuloy-tuloy pa din naman. Pero kung siya lang, no, there are matters under our international human rights law and under the rules ng ICC. Kino-consider naman ang health conditions and human rights of the person accused of a crime.
Ito hindi lang to kay dating Pangulong Duterte. Kung halimbawa ho yung nasasakdal ay namatay, matutuloy pa ba yung kanyang hearing o hindi na po?
Pag namatay na siya, so wala nang ikakaso laban sa kanya, no?
Hindi na pwedeng ituloy, oo.
Yung
and
mga co-perpetrators
Yun na lang ang hahabulin. Yung mga,
co-perpetrators
okay.
na lang.
Alright.
Marami pa naman.
Din, Taton, may nabanggit kayo, gusto ko lang mas ma-explain pa natin, na baka ito'y magtagal at umabot ng eleksyon.
Kasi 2 years
So,
diba?
meron bang factor na habang nandun si Pangulong Duterte, gamitin siya ng mga kaalyado niyang tatakbo sa 2028?
Yan ang isang question, no, kung gagamitin ba or hindi. Pero if we refer to the process, it can take 2 years, 3 years, to
Wow.
even 5 to 6 years, no? So depende sa availability ng witnesses, and at the same time sa dami ng witnesses, and depende din sa action ng akusado sa kaso na ito. They can present their own evidence, and the cross-examination can take so long. It can be very even emotional and sad for others, no. I've witnessed some hearings there before na parang masyadong tedious and emotionally draining for everyone there, especially siguro sa akusado.
Bakit ngayon may last effort pa na magsampa sa Korte Suprema yung mga kaalyado po ng dating Pangulong Duterte? May epekto ho ba yun sa International Criminal Court?
Kasi as a student of public international law, ang pagkaintindi natin, pag international tribunal ay may jurisdiction over the matter na, no?
Apo.
And it is the one that is deciding, international law shall prevail regardless of the domestic processes that are being conducted.
Pero sabi nga wala silang police power dito So magde-depend pa rin ho sila doon sa ating korte in a way, because kung wala hong ipapalabas daw na warrant yung korte natin, hindi rin gagalaw yung police natin.
Depende sa interpretation po natin if we talk about the warrant, no?
Yes.
Pero if we talk about the process, jurisdiction, and the power of the ICC in relation to these cases, and to have individual responsibility as distinguished from state responsibility, kasi dito ang responsibility is individual, no, especially for the perpetrators. So it will rely on the police forces of the member states, not with the Philippines
Okay,
right now,
oo,
because the
tama.
Philippines is not a member.
Oo.
Pero we have cooperation arrangements with
Interpol, halimbawa.
with other states, no, and especially that the case that is involved here is a universal crime, and the case involved here is crimes against humanity,
Opo.
where it is an erga omnes obligation, in fact, na lahat ng bawat state sa mundo ay it has an obligation to act against.
Okay, may kilos ho ngayon sa Senado, kaugnay itong usapin ng warrant of arrest na i-issue ng ICC. Nabanggit nyo din, Tato, na hindi na tayo member, no, ng ICC. So may mga co-perpetrators ngayon na nasa Senado, pero may gusto silang gawin na kailangan daw dinggin muna sa local courts at hindi basta-basta isuko sa mga police ng mga member state yung hinuhuli dito sa Pilipinas. Ganun ho ba talaga ang tamang proseso? Para kasi hindi masabing kinidnap, no? Parang ganon.
Oo. We look at this sa protection na ibinibigay or ibibigay sa co-perpetrators, particularly sa Senado with
Opo.
Bongo and Bato de la Rosa.
Opo.
Domestically, and they have done this to protect a member of the Senate. However, this one is different. This is unprecedented.
Okay.
Na ang kaso ay nasa International Criminal Court.
Okay.
But we also note that we have a domestic law on the crimes against humanity, 9851, I think, no? And we have a law against that, no? So ang tinitingnan natin dito ay hindi lamang yung ICC, hindi lamang ang saligang batas that we are saying that the generally accepted principles of international law are part of the law of the land, no? And also that we have a local or domestic law on the matter against crimes against humanity. So ito ititingnan natin sa perspektibo. They can always protect their own. But if we talk about individual personal responsibility for crimes against humanity, that is so serious and egregious as a crime, a universal crime at that, then that is the reason why we have an instance of the doctrine of complementarity. Kasi if the local state is unwilling or unable to prosecute this kind of cases, with more reason na ang international tribunal will proceed.
Okay. Pero paano ho ito makakaapekto? Halimbawa lang, kunyari lang, hindi talaga mabigyan ho ng warrant ng mga korte dito, yung ilan ho sa mga co-perpetrators. Paano naman makaka-affect yun sa ating pong relasyon, ano? Dahil miyembro naman tayo ng Interpol.
Yes, that's why we are saying that the duty to cooperate, cooperation agreements, isang within the power of the executive siya, no? So, and the foreign policy, foreign relations is part of executive branch, no, na power. So, depende din sa perception or action ng executive branch, in the same way that during the Duterte administration, they withdrew from the ICC.
All right.
Okay,
Malinaw
Dane,
po.
naku,
Thank
maraming
you.
salamat. Ang dami ko natutunan.